So Yeshiva College is an answer to the seminary. It's a response to the seminary. What was the difference, and were there not any merger discussions between?
Okay, it's a very, very important question. So first, the question is, what was the purpose of Yeshiva College in particular? And the answer is there's a dispute about that. One school of thought says, well, this was of ideological conviction, the desire to bring together secular and Jewish learning under one roof, as though that is, the divine plan, Torah Umada. Before Rabbi Norman Lamb coined the phrase, 2 generations earlier, this is some ideological experiment of bringing the two together. That's one approach to it. However, the real answer historically is that it was a matter of convenience. The students at REITs were going to college, but where were they going? They were going to City College on 137th Street or NYU downtown, and it was inconvenient. Or going to Columbia 116th Street, it was inconvenient to have to schlep, to go from one place to another, traipsing around Manhattan. If you could have one place where secular education could be obtained and your Jewish learning, all the better. So as a practical matter, that's why Yeshiva College was established. There's a third angle to it also, and that is every other religious denomination in America, the Christian denominations, have their various colleges. Why shouldn't the Jews have one too? But Yeshiva College never really served that purpose. Brandeis would ultimately serve that purpose of a secular college under Jewish auspices. Yeshiva was clearly an Orthodox institution where if you just wanted Jewish auspices, it wasn't going to be to your liking. Now, as for merger talks, the merger talks were intense in the mid-1920s, because the moneyed elite on both sides of the Yeshiva JTS divide did not really understand the difference between the two institutions. It was hard for a man like Felix Warburg to understand why it is that you have to have in New York 2 traditional Jewish seminaries. Can't they just all get along? And even on the Orthodox side, there were some of the donors to Yeshiva who did not understand why we need to have both places, because there was some overlap in terms of the financial contributions. Now, why then did merger talks fail? So 3 main reasons. One, Bernard Revel opposed it. Bernard Revel adamantly expressed the idea that the yeshiva is Torah lishma, the study of Torah for its own sake, as opposed to the seminary, which was designed as a trade school to produce American rabbis. Now, that sounded a little bit condescending and dismissive of what the seminary was trying to accomplish, and maybe he was a little bit condescending in the approach to it, but he had a point. There were differences in purpose to the 2 institutions that are nuanced and not everyone can grasp, but he tried to clarify them. Another reason why it broke down was over the issue of Mordechai Kaplan. Kaplan had been an alum of REITs. He went to Eitz Chaim in the old days, and he was a professor of homiletics and the head of the Teachers Institute at the seminary, and was a very popular figure at that time. But he had already rendered himself non-kosher in the eyes of his Orthodox colleagues by virtue of abandoning the Jewish Center in favor of the Society for the Advancement of Judaism on West 86th Street and establishing Reconstructionist Judaism, which is essentially devoid of a belief in a personal God, borderline atheism. So how could Kaplan be a faculty member at a joint institution like this, which is a nominally Orthodox institution? And a third factor was institutional loyalty. Each side had its own desires to rule over a combined venture, and no one was willing to budge. So there were talks in the 20s, there were even talks in the 40s. Nothing ever came of it.